Imagine this. You're laughing with a close friend, but the moment they walk away, a strange unease creeps in like a whisper telling you something's not right. Have you ever felt that gut instinct, that subtle chill behind someone's smile? Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, taught us about the shadow, the hidden part of us that holds our darkest emotions, like envy or resentment. And when someone close to you secretly hates you, they can't fully hide it. In this video, we'll uncover 8 undeniable signs that someone you trust might be harboring hostility, starting with the subtle clues and building up to a final sign that will make you rethink every relationship in your life. Stick around, because what you discover might just protect your peace. Let's dive into the first set of signs that someone close to you might be secretly harboring hostility. These signs often show up in the way they talk to you, the way they react to your wins, or even the way they pretend to care. On the surface, they might seem harmless, but Carl Jung's teachings remind us that the shadow, that hidden part of the psyche, often reveals itself in subtle, yet telling ways. Let's break down the first 3 signs and explore how they play out in real life, so you can start noticing them in your own relationships. Have you ever had a friend or family member make a joke that didn't feel funny at all? Maybe they tease you about something you're sensitive about, like your appearance, your career choices, or even a past mistake. At first, you laugh it off, but over time, those jabs start to sting. Here's a real-life example. Sarah, a 32-year-old graphic designer, had a co-worker named Mark who always joked about her single status. Still no ring on that finger. Huh? Don't worry, Sarah. There's always time, he'd say with a smirk, while others laughed. When Sarah finally confronted him, Mark brushed it off, saying, "Oh, come on. I'm just kidding, don't be so sensitive." But Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of being humiliated, especially since Mark's jokes always targeted the same insecurity. This is contempt, disguised as humor, and it's a classic sign of hidden hostility. Carl Jung would argue that this behavior stems from the shadow, the unacknowledged part of someone's psyche. When someone repeatedly uses sarcasm or irony to poke at your vulnerabilities, they're often projecting their own insecurities onto you. In Mark's case, maybe he felt unfulfilled in his own relationships, and targeting Sarah made him feel better about himself. But here's the key. If those jokes consistently leave you feeling belittled, and they happen over and over on the same topic, it's not just humor, it's a window into their repressed resentment. Pay attention to how their words make you feel, because your gut is often the first to pick up on this subtle hostility. The second sign is a little harder to spot, but it's just as telling: silent competition. Some people can't stand to see you succeed without feeling the need to one-up you. Every achievement you share becomes an opportunity for them to shift the spotlight back to themselves, or worse, to downplay what you've accomplished. Let's look at another example. James, a 28-year-old teacher, was thrilled when he won an award at his school for innovative teaching methods. He couldn't wait to share the news with his best friend, Ethan. But when he told Ethan, the response was far from what he expected. "Oh, that's cool," Ethan said casually, before quickly adding, "You know, I just got a promotion at work last week. Way bigger deal. Honestly, I didn't even have to apply for it." James felt deflated. Instead of celebrating together, it felt like Ethan needed to prove he was better. This unspoken competition often comes from deep insecurity. Carl Jung explained that the shadow projection happens when someone can't accept their own shortcomings, so they see your success as a threat to their self-worth. When you shine, it highlights what they feel they lack, and instead of facing that, they try to outdo you or diminish your achievements. If every conversation with someone feels like a subtle battle for attention, if they can't let you have your moment without redirecting it to themselves, it's a sign of unexpressed resentment. Ask yourself, does this person ever genuinely celebrate your wins? Or do they always find a way to make it about them? The answer will tell you a lot about their true feelings. The third sign is one of the most hurtful superficial support. People who secretly harbor hostility might pretend to care, but their actions or lack thereof reveal the truth. They're there when it's convenient, but when you really need them, they're nowhere to be found. Or when you achieve something great, their enthusiasm feels forced, like they're going through the motions. Let's take an example from Lisa, a 35-year-old entrepreneur. She launched her own small business after years of hard work, and she was excited to share the news with her sister, Emily. But Emily's reaction was lukewarm at best. "Oh, that's nice," she said with a half smile, before quickly changing the subject to her own problems. Later, when Lisa went through a tough time with her business, Emily was always too busy to help or even listen. Over time, Lisa noticed a pattern. Emily was never truly there for her. Whether in moments of success or struggle, this lack of genuine support can be devastating, especially when it comes from someone you trust. Carl Jung spoke of ego dissociation, a mechanism where people become emotionally disconnected from others, often because they're too caught up in their own unresolved conflicts. When someone can't show up for you in meaningful ways, it's not just about being busy, it's a reflection of their inability to feel genuine happiness or empathy for you. Their shadow, filled with envy or unresolved bitterness, keeps them from connecting with your joy or pain. If you notice, someone close to you is consistently absent during your highs and lows, if their support feels hollow or performative, it's a sign they might not have your best interests at heart. These first three signs, contempt disguised as humor, silent competition, and superficial support, share a common thread. They're all ways the shadow reveals itself through surface behaviors. Carl Jung believed that the shadow isn't just a personal struggle, it's something we project onto others when we can't face it ourselves. When someone belittles you with jokes, competes with your every win, or fails to show up when you need them, they're often acting out their own insecurities, not yours. But here's the lesson. Recognizing these signs isn't about confronting them, it's about protecting yourself. Start noticing how people's words and actions make you feel. Do they lift you up? Or do they leave you questioning your worth? Your intuition is a powerful tool, and it's often the first to sense when something or someone isn't right. Now that we've explored how hostility can hide in words and surface behaviors, let's dig deeper into the actions that reveal someone's true feelings. Actions that are often so subtle, you might not notice them at first. These aren't loud, obvious betrayals. They're quiet, calculated moves that chip away at your confidence, your opportunities, and your peace. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow helps us understand why people act this way when someone can't confront their own fears or insecurities. They project them onto you through these sneaky behaviors. Let's uncover the next three signs: sabotage, control, and gossip, and see how they play out in real life, so you can protect yourself from the people who might be undermining you behind your back. The first sign in this chapter is hidden sabotage, and it's one of the most insidious because it's often disguised as carelessness or coincidence. Have you ever had someone forget to pass along important information, give you bad advice that sets you back, or create small obstacles that mess up your plans? At first, you might brush it off as an honest mistake, but when it happens over and over, it's time to pay attention. Take Mia, a 29-year-old marketing assistant. For example, she was working on a big presentation that could have earned her a promotion. Her close friend and co-worker, Alex, knew how important it was to her. But the day before the presentation, Alex forgot to tell Mia about a last-minute meeting change, causing her to miss a critical prep session with her team. When Mia confronted him, Alex apologized profusely, saying, "I'm so sorry. It slipped my mind. I've been so swamped." But this wasn't the first time Alex had slipped up at a crucial moment, and Mia started to wonder if it was really an accident. Hidden sabotage is a way for someone to hold you back without taking responsibility. Carl Jung would say this behavior comes from the shadow, specifically from a place of envy or fear of being outshone. When someone feels threatened by your growth, they might unconsciously or even consciously try to derail you, all while maintaining a facade of innocence. If these mistakes keep happening at pivotal moments in your life, and they always seem to benefit the other person or hinder you, it's not just bad luck. It's a sign of hostility they don't have the courage to express openly. Look at the patterns. Does this person's forgetfulness or advice consistently put you at a disadvantage? If so, their shadow might be working against you. The next sign is even more deceptive control disguised as caring. Some people will try to dominate your life. Under the guise of looking out for you, they tell you what to do, criticize your choices, and make you doubt your own decisions, all while claiming it's for your own good. This can be especially hard to spot because it often feels like love or concern on the surface. Let's look at an example. Rachel, a 34-year-old single mom, had a mother who always seemed overly involved in her life. When Rachel decided to go back to school to pursue a degree, her mother was quick to step in. "Are you sure you can handle that with a kid?" she'd say. "You're already so busy. I just don't want you to fail. Why don't you wait a few years at first?" Rachel thought her mum was just being protective. But over time, she noticed a pattern every time she tried to take a big step forward. Her mum would plant seeds of doubt, making her second-guess herself. After every conversation, Rachel felt more insecure, not supported. This kind of control is a subtle form of hostility, and Carl Jung would point to the shadow as the root cause. Carl Jung believed that the need to control others often stems from a deep fear of internal chaos. People who can't manage their own uncertainties try to govern the lives of others to feel more secure. In Rachel's case, her mum might have been projecting her own fears of failure or change onto her daughter, using concern as a way to keep Rachel small and dependent. The key here is how their behavior makes you feel. If their advice or care consistently leaves you feeling less confident, less capable, or more reliant on them, it's not support, it's manipulation. True care empowers you. It doesn't make you feel like you can't trust your own judgment. The final sign in this chapter is one of the most damaging, spreading criticism and gossip. People who secretly resent you often won't confront you directly. Instead, they'll talk behind your back, spreading negative or distorted information to undermine your reputation. This behavior is especially harmful because it happens out of sight, and you might not realize it's going on until the damage is done. Consider Jake, a 31-year-old software developer. He started noticing that some of his friends were acting distant, avoiding him at gatherings, or giving him strange looks. Eventually, he found out why his childhood friend, Tom, had been telling others that Jake was arrogant and too full of himself after getting a big promotion at work. Tom never said a word to Jake's face, but his gossip spread like wildfire, slowly isolating Jake from their social circle. This kind of indirect attack is a hallmark of hidden hostility. Carl Jung explained that the need to discredit others often comes from an unconscious attempt to project one's own insecurities onto someone else. When someone feels inferior or dissatisfied with their own life, like Tom might have felt after Jake's success, they try to balance their feelings of inadequacy by casting you in a bad light. Gossip and criticism allow them to hurt you without taking accountability, all while keeping their hands clean. If you notice unexplained changes in how others treat you, if friends or colleagues suddenly seem colder or more distant, It might be a sign that someone close to you is spreading negativity behind your back. Pay attention to who benefits from these rumors, because that's often the person whose shadow is at work. These 3 signs, hidden sabotage, control disguised as caring, and spreading gossip, are all about actions that undermine you in secret. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow helps us see why these behaviors often stem from the parts of someone's psyche they can't face, like envy, fear, or self-doubt. When someone sabotages your opportunities, controls your decisions, or tarnishes your reputation, they're not just hurting you, they're revealing their own inner struggles. But here's what you can do. Start noticing the patterns. Does someone's carelessness always seem to hold you back? Does their concern make you feel smaller instead of stronger? Are there whispers about you that trace back to someone you trust? These aren't coincidences, they're warnings. Protecting your peace means recognizing these subtle actions for what they are and setting boundaries with the people who might be quietly working against you. Let's move into the final layer of hidden hostility, the signs that reveal themselves through emotions and the unspoken language of the body. These are the clues that hit you on a deeper, almost instinctive level, because they're not about what someone says or does, but how they feel and what their body betrays. Carl Jung often said that our deepest truths come out in ways we can't control, and these last 2 signs will show you exactly what to look for in the people around you. First, let's talk about how someone reacts to your successes. People who truly care about you light up when you achieve something. They're genuinely happy to see you thrive, because your joy feels like their joy. But someone who secretly resents you, they can't muster that same warmth. Instead, you'll notice a coldness, a detachment, or even a subtle irritation when you share your wins. Picture this. You've just finished a major project at work, something you've poured your heart into for months. You're bursting with pride, so you tell a close friend, expecting them to share in your excitement. But their response is a flat, "Oh, that's nice," followed by a quick change of subject like they can't wait to move on. Or maybe they downplay it entirely, saying something like, "Well, it's not that big of a deal." Right, I did something like that a while back. That lack of joy isn't just indifference, it's a sign of something deeper. Carl Jung explained that when someone can't celebrate your success, it's often because it reminds them of their own unresolved shortcomings. Your happiness becomes a mirror for their insecurities, and instead of facing that, they shut down or try to minimize your achievement. If you consistently feel like your victories are met with apathy or subtle resentment, it's time to ask yourself, is this person really rooting for me? Now, let's zero in on the most subtle, but perhaps the most telling clue of all body language. Words can lie, and actions can be carefully calculated, but the body often reveals what someone truly feels, even when they're trying to hide it. Think about the last time you shared good news with someone close to you. Did they smile, but their eyes stayed cold and distant? Did their posture stiffen, or did they avoid looking at you altogether? These tiny, involuntary signals are powerful. For example, Emily, a 27-year-old nurse, noticed something off about her roommate, Claire. Whenever Emily shared something positive like getting a raise at the hospital, Claire would say all the right things. "That's amazing. I'm so happy for you." But her body told a different story. Her smile never reached her eyes. Her arms were crossed tightly, and her tone felt just a little too flat. Over time, Emily realized that Claire's warmth was an act, and those nonverbal cues were the truth slipping through the cracks. Carl Jung believed that the unconscious mind speaks through the body in ways we can't fully control. When someone feels hostility but tries to mask it, their true emotions will leak out in these small, telling details: a forced smile, a tense silence, a fleeting glance of envy. Trust your instincts here. If something feels off about the way someone carries themselves around you, it probably is. Your gut is picking up on signals that your conscious mind hasn't fully processed yet. As we wrap up these signs, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned, from the sarcastic jabs to the gossip behind your back. And now these emotional and physical clues. You're starting to see how hidden hostility shows up in the people closest to you. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that these behaviors aren't always about you. They're often a reflection of someone else's shadow. They're unacknowledged struggles spilling over into your life. But recognizing these signs gives you the power to protect your peace and surround yourself with people who truly lift you up. So, there you have it. These subtle yet powerful signs have opened your eyes to the hidden hostility that might be lurking in your closest relationships. From the sarcastic remarks that cut deeper than they seem, to the cold body language that speaks louder than words, you now have the tools to see what's really going on beneath the surface. Carl Jung's wisdom has shown us that these behaviors often reflect someone else's shadow, their unacknowledged struggles with envy, insecurity, or resentment. But more importantly, this journey has given you the clarity to protect your peace and prioritize your own well-being. Take a moment to think, is there someone in your life who's been showing these signs? Maybe a friend who can't celebrate your wins, or a family member whose concern feels more like control. We'd love to hear your story. Drop it in the comments below, because sharing can be the first step to healing. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss another deep dive into self-discovery with Carl Jung. Like, share, and comment to spread this knowledge to others who might need it, because everyone deserves relationships that lift them up, not drag them down. Until next time, keep exploring your inner world and always protect your peace.